Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the processions of the Chairman and Chairman's escort of East Dorset District Council, the University Board, Senate and the Pro-Chancellor. Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Pro-Chancellor, Mr. Giles Sturdy.
Well, good afternoon to you all. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all today, particularly to welcome our honorary guests, Councillor David Shortell, who's Chairman of the East Dorset District Council, and Mrs. Shortell, and also to introduce you to our platform party as Mr. Tim Lee, representing the University Board, the Vice-Chancellor and members of the University Executive Team sitting on the other side, Conor Burns, who's our MP for Bournemouth West, who's a great supporter of the university, board members and members of Senate, and also sponsors of today's prizes. So it is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all today to this afternoon's ceremony. But the real welcome is to all of you out there, those of you graduating today, or receiving doctorates from the Faculty of Science and Technology. Also, students from our partner college, Kingston Moorwood, the Dorset Land-based college, who are receiving degrees that are validated by the university. And especially a great welcome to all of your friends and family who have supported you throughout the last few years and have come today to share this great moment in your lives with you. So welcome and big congratulations to all our graduates. This may seem to be a very formal and dignified ceremony, as befits, of course, your graduation. But please enjoy it too. Loud applause, cheering, whistles even are great. Last year, I have to tell you, one of the graduates, in his exuberance, tried to cross the stage doing cartwheels. Well, now, perhaps that was a little bit over the top. I'm really not recommending it, particularly as he did really quite nearly go over the edge as well, which could have been disastrous or might have been entertaining. So enjoy yourselves anyway. There's a fascinating statistic behind this week's graduation ceremonies. Students graduating this week at the Bournemouth University come from 110 different nationalities. This demonstrates the extraordinary international outreach of this university, something we demonstrated early this year, for instance, when our renowned Festival of Learning, that is run here every year and attracts a lot of people to see what we're doing, was also run in Malaya and in China. Global engagement is an absolutely vitally important aspect of what a university education is all about. Developing awareness, understanding and friendships on a global scale are absolutely essential to the experience that we try to give you. During the last few years, you will have widened your horizons. You will have made friendships that will last you a lifetime. You will have gained skills that will have been valuable as your careers develop. Many of you will have also enjoyed taking part in the very dynamic Students' Union activities and will have done some voluntary work in the community. So hopefully you really have all felt that you've benefited enormously in this environment of intellectual freedom and of intellectual exploration. So I say very sincerely, long may British universities continue to protect freedom of speech and expression and continue to be at the heart of international collaboration for research, studies and innovation. You are graduating today at a time when Britain's future position in the world and our relationship with Europe is now somewhat confused. Your future employment prospects will be very much in the forefront of your minds. Locally, I can say that the economy in South East Dorset has moved into almost full employment. In part, this is due to the work this university does together with the local enterprise partnership in fostering new businesses in high-tech and in the creative sectors. But certainly, your employability and your success in the future careers has been absolutely central to the university's mission over the last 3 years, so that you will go out, contribute towards making the world a better place and towards having good careers for yourselves. Whatever happens, I'm sure Britain's role will continue to be at the heart of business innovation, protecting the environment, something that many of you have studied, and global security. These are all areas in which the University and the Faculty of Science and Technology particularly concentrate on. The University's policy throughout your time here has been to bring together, we call it Fusion, and many of you know the new Fusion building as well, to bring together education, research, and best professional practice, to give the students the very best possible learning opportunities, especially through professional work placements and engaging with people who are themselves engaged in leading-edge research. Many of you will have studied in the department's Life and Environment department, or used the state-of-the-art facilities such as the Forensic Science Labs, the Anthropology Lab, which has, fascinatingly, got one of the largest collections and one of the most important collections, too, of human remains in the United Kingdom. So much of all this work is focused on that overall theme of global security. Forensic archaeology and issues relating to climate change and improving our resilience to that change are also extremely important. So the university does have a huge amount to be proud of. We've moved significantly up the ranking of UK universities. Demand for undergraduate places is at the highest level, as is undergraduate enrolment. So we can also be very proud too of your achievements. We can look forward to the contributions that you're going to make to society in the future. So enjoy today, be proud of your achievements, all of us here to celebrate with you and wish you all the very best for your futures. I'm delighted to declare this ceremony open.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the Students' Union, Ms. Charlie Souter-Phillips.
Good afternoon. It is an honour and a privilege to be speaking here in front of my fellow students on behalf of the Students' Union at Bournemouth University. Today is a momentous occasion for us all, a milestone that we'll look back on with tremendous pride. We all have our own unique story of our journey at Bournemouth University. Mine consisted of long nights in the media school, complete with late-night ordering of pizza to get me through until the morning. It's not a technique that I would suggest, but perhaps one that most of you can relate to. We all have our own stories, but there's also a lot we have in common. We have all experienced a shift from awkward hellos as freshers to friendships that will last a lifetime. We have transformed from tense first years, struggling to find the library, to confident scholars who can challenge preconceptions in our fields. But that is not the journey, is not over. It is just beginning. Our generation will be the next titans of industry, creators of jobs and pioneers of innovation. We are a generation of risk takers, prepared to fail, prepared to pick ourselves up and start again, prepared for the chance to be something truly great, to be someone truly great. We, the graduates of Bournemouth University, are the next generation of leaders who will be the change that we want to see in the world. We are a generation of risk takers. So go out there, think the unthinkable, do the undoable, challenge the status quo, and most importantly, be the best version of yourself. Thank you, and good luck.
This congregation is assembled for the presentation of postgraduate and undergraduate awards of the university. Pro-Chancellor, recipients of awards in the Faculty of Science and Technology will be presented by the Executive Dean, Professor Christine Maggs, and received as graduates by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor John Vinney.
Pro-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present the recipients of awards for the Faculty of Science and Technology. For the Doctor of Philosophy, in recognition of a programme of work entitled Applied Ecology and Management of Invasive Topmouth Gudgeon Pseudoaspora parva in England and Wales, Gareth Diffrig Davis. In recognition of a programme of work entitled The Relationship Between Methylation and Genes Associated with Opioid Response in Humans, Poppy Ann McLaughlin. In recognition of a programme of work entitled Lost in Trauma, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, Spatial Processing, and the Brain-Derived Neurotrophic Factor Gene, Jessica Catherine Miller. In recognition of a programme of work entitled The Highs and Lows of Students' Experiences with Ubiquitous Connectivity, Investigating Connections Between Use of New Technologies and Wellbeing, Michelle Salvagno. Doctor of Philosophy by publication, in recognition of a programme of work entitled Cortisol and Yawning as a Potential Biomarker for the Early Diagnosis of Neurological Disease, Simon Benjamin Nicholas Thompson. Masters by Research, Rosanna Consiglio. Russell Noak. Helen Daniel Slater. Master of Science in Applied Sciences by Research, Mark Jason Broadhead. And with distinction, Oliver Farmer. Daniela Tumler. Robin Kate Weston. For the Master of Science in Archaeological Practice, Philip Bennett. For the Master of Science in Biological Anthropology, Nicole Lambacher. Samantha Nelson. Hannah Randall Morris. Ludovic Edward Neil Scott. Anne Kristen Stumpf. And with distinction, Catherine Williams. For the Master of Science in Clinical and Developmental Neuropsychology, Justine Antolin. And with distinction, Delise Elaine Carroll. And with distinction, Emma Christopher. Lucy Courtney. And with distinction, Rachel Hitchener. Stacey Ann Juthapan. Princess Alicia Kamang. And with distinction, Hannah Linner. Eleanor Martin. And with distinction, Rhiannon Skye McMahon. And with distinction, Emma Medlicott. And with distinction, Rebecca Morrison. And with distinction, Fiona Orme. Abigail Jenny Silveira. And with distinction, Marta Thielman Jensen. And with distinction, Emily Withers. Isabel Young. For the Master of Science in Forensic Archaeology, Antonio Agapiu. Sheena Mifsud. Jack Peverell. Ewan Witt. For the Master of Science in Forensic Osteology, with distinction, Alexandra Antinia Andriania Bucheri. Gela Defranc. Chloe Deeker. Victoria Hardwidge. Rebecca Harkins. And with distinction, Hannah Louise McGiven. Nicole Plunkett. Josie Elizabeth Southam. And with distinction, Lucas Waltenberger. Kyle Inyak Wilson. Amanda Wittrup. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Forensic Osteology, Neil Christian Slauson. For the Master of Science in Forensic Toxicology by Research, Conor Brogan. And with distinction, Charlie Day. Hassan Kurumbokus. And with distinction, Sarah Twist. For the Master of Science in Foundations of Clinical Psychology, with distinction, Christopher James Anderton. Lauren Bruton. Ashley Dunera. Vicky Leung. Holly Miles. Jolene Sonia Muckle. And with distinction, Ruvimbo Jane Mugadza. Marina Muzondo. Idowu Damilola Otaji. And with distinction, Omolola Olukutun. And with distinction, Bianca Chelsea Page Thomas. And with distinction, Georgia Turner. For the Master of Science in Maritime Archaeology, with distinction, Thomas Harrison. Caitlin Ravon Haskins. And with distinction, Lowry Ellen Roberts. Andrew Winger. For the Master of Science in Osteoarchaeology, Lauren Carpenter. Eleanor Craven. Sophie French. Luke Morgan Roberts. Emily Shrimpton. For the Bachelor of Arts in Archaeology and Anthropology, Sarah Atkins. Abigail Lucinda Phillips. Bianca Pinto Reinhardt. Charles Scovell Burfitt. Laura Sohodolskitia. For the Bachelor of Arts in Prehistoric and Roman Archaeology, Amy Leanne Bates. Rebecca Bowron. Robin Dumbreck. Abigail Golding. Emily Rhodes. For the Bachelor of Science in Applied Geography, Alexandra Arthur Worsup. Molly Atwell. Lisa Fischel. Rebecca Hales. Sean Hughes. Isabel James. Edward James Marden. Michaela Pozzetti. Rufus Pratt. Adam Scammell. Lewis Sherman. Lee William Stride. Laura Charlotte Symes. And with first class honours, Charlotte Grace Lillian Unwin. Thomas Williams. For the Bachelor of Science in Archaeological, Anthropological and Forensic Sciences, Georgina Byrne. Eo Laura Gray Davis. Elsie Jane Griffin. Matthew King. Ebony Storm Stanbury. Amber Williams. For the Bachelor of Science in Archaeology, Darwin Cully. With first class honours, Rebecca Gilby. Milo McCartney. Amy Potts. Adam Prowling. Tess Walter. James Ward Gwilliam. And for the Diploma of Higher Education in Archaeology, Abby Rose Wills. For the Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences, Thordis Asgersdottir. Jessica Anais Bakewell. Guy Cairns Brown. Sean Shamunowa. Christine Chokan. Sarah Deans. And with first class honours, Emily Dickens. Camilla Frida Domeneghetti. And with first class honours, Edward Grice. And with first class honours, Laura Kiley Haddock. Matthew Hare. Kimberly Harris. Dominic Alexander Holmes. And with first class honours, Ellen John Cock. Sarah Louise Moore. Thomas Matthew Morgan. Paul Alexandru Nadasanu. Sialu Sitwan Ngessen. Katrina Packham. Sophie Louise Palmer. Callum Terence Pluck. Laxan Sathasivam. Samantha Sewell. And with first class honours, Cara Stone. Matthew Christopher Stone. Lauren Taylor Flynn. Rihanna Webb. And with first class honours, Abigail Weston. For the Bachelor of Science in Ecology and Wildlife Conservation, Deborah Blake. And with first class honours, Grace Berger. And with first class honours, Julia Ellen Byram. Ellie Victoria Castle. Nicola Collins. And with first class honours, Tom Dando. Hayley Louise Giles. Natalie Itzel Hewitt. And with first class honours, Melissa Howell. Louise Yanu. Dominic Lambert. Karina Lees. And with first class honours, Hamish Lillywhite. And with first class honours, Manhild Sletton. For the Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science, with first class honours, Izara Edgar. Lara Odafin. Louise Catherine Randall. With first class honours, David Wallace. With first class honours, Stephanie Kate Watson. Lucy Warmold. For the Bachelor of Science in Forensic Investigation, Zoe Jane Brewer. Liam Dominic Carter. Saffron Cole. Joanna Edgar. Megan Fletcher. Melissa Sally Gooch. Sophie Patricia Griffiths. And with first class honours, Nargilia Guliamova. Rebecca Harris. Matthew Luke Hodges. Nigel Kay. Patience Mandinyenya. Adam Martin. With first class honours, Rachel McAvoy. Leah Louise Morden-Tew. Danielle Morgan. Molly Neal. Benjamin Small. Tarisei Sandra Tillotson. Sophie Jane Treblecock. Harriet Walker. For the Bachelor of Science in Forensic Science, Abby Lee Jade Anderson. With first class honours, Rebecca Andrews. Daniel Baldwin. Katie Charlotte Bird. Otis Cox. Samuel Conway Jones. Rebecca Cronk. Lee Robert Brian Dawson. Jessica Dibbling. With first class honours, Mark Duke. Ryan Lee Flanagan. Lacey George. Maisie Gwilliam. Jessica Hartill. Mark Heel. Andrew Philip Hode. Andrew Wakarak Joseph. Hassan Kayala. Gemma Lee. Daniel Christopher Mapp. Nathaniel McKee. Isabel McQueen. Joshua Mears. Pahirathan Paranthaman. Adam Pollard. Emily Jane Purchase. Abigail Reynolds. Anastasia Semyonova. Kerry Leanne Sherwood. Brian Henry Wright. And Victoria Wright. For the Bachelor of Science in Music and Audio Technology, Mohammed Kassem. For the Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Matthew Ainger. Alana Andrews. Nicole Beban. Catherine Kim Beachy. Chloe Elizabeth Mary Bellas. Amy Bevis. Natalie Blackburn. Eleanor Blackford. Clarissa Booth. With first-class honours, Kia Buio. Grace Bradbury. Michaela Breda Blassie. Isabel Catherine Byrne. Elizabeth Carrington. Nikita Chanda. Paige Cherrett. Sophie Clent. Charlotte Collett. Zoe Collinson. Megan Connell. Danielle Cook. Emily Vaughan Cook. Rebecca Corradine. Leah Marie Daniels. Elliot Stephen Scott Davis. Robert Luigi Devine. Hannah Dixon. Emily Ely. And And with first class honours, Chanel Evans. With first class honours, Louis Fabry. Catherine Farrington. Michelle Ann Freemantle. Galina Frolofer. Nicholas Batamosi. And with first class honours, Jack Gilgan. William Goggin. With first class honours, Rose Bethany Graham. Alethea Justine Gestini. Hannah Gunthorpe. Molly Hamill. Ryan Hawley. Emma Hayes. Ana Henrique Sanchez. And with first class honours, Jessica Hussey. Daisy Hutchinson. Merrin Hannah James. Chelsea Jarman. Amy Eva Johnson. Anna Sabina Kastberg. Rebecca Kelleher. Lorna King. Samuel Kingscott. Lauren Adrian Kirby. Courtney Savannah Lawrence. Rebecca Ledden. Camille Lowe. Marta Agnes Makiovac. And with first class honours, Catherine Jane Maiden. Sophie Marsh. Asamala Matayisi. Jed Matthews. Natalie May. Evelina Mazurska. Connor McGregor. Lauren Mayer McLean. And with first class honours, Alice McClellan. Chloe Cecilia McMenamin. Mark David Metzger. Edward Moore. Sam Mosley. Philippa Nation. Ross Okiowo. Chloe Grace Ozard, Sophie Louise Padfield, Oliver Papa, and with first class honours, Sophie Parker, Amber Gillian Parkinson, Hannah Jo Pigeon, and with first class honours, Megan Plever, and with first class honours, Gemma Claire Pumphrey, Daniela Porter, Patricia Price, Emilia Premilskowska, Ava Radpur, Kim Ramirez Benson, Ellen Rose Reynolds, Sarah Richards, and with first class honours, Daisy Rowe, Emily Salter, L. Jane Saunders, Sophie Louise Sinclair, Francesca Emily Scan, Tiffany Skinner, Naomi Smith, Zoe Ann Stepkowski, Bethan Stobie, Maria Summers, Matthew Tarry, Jessica Taylor, Keris Heather Thompson, Gary Louise Thompson, Kirsten Tracy, Claire Elaine Turner, Sophie Elizabeth Turnock, Sophia Vaccarella, Tamsin Charlotte Walton, Bethany Ward, with first class honours, Lauren Weeks, Karen Waymo, Matthew Wellings, Claire Wicks, Serena Williams, Jessica Witt, Fabienne Worthington, Evelyn Weon, Vishnavi Yogaraja, and Nicole Young. For the foundation degree in Science in Marine Ecology and Conservation with distinction, Jessica Bone. Dale Evans. Robert Hughes. Is that it? Yeah. So, Pro-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of awards for the Faculty of Science and Technology. Vice-Chancellor, thank you. Pro-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present the recipients of awards for the Faculty of Science and Technology. The Faculty Prize for the Best Postgraduate Taught Student in the 2015-16 academic year, graduating in the afternoon ceremony, will be presented by Dr. Angelos Stefanidis, Associate Dean for Global Engagement, and is awarded to Oliver Farmer. The Faculty Prize for the Best Undergraduate Student in the 2015-16 academic year, graduating in the afternoon ceremony, also presented by Dr. Angelos Stefanidis, Associate Dean for Global Engagement, is awarded to Daisy Rowe. The Adam Mills Award, in memory of Adam Mills, awarded to the student from archaeology, anthropology, or forensic science who has overcome adversity and has an overwhelming enthusiasm for life. We have two recipients this year, presented by Professor David Osselton, Head of Department, and these prizes go to, first, Tarisei Tillotson. And also to Tess Walter. The Bernard Dyer Memorial Prize is awarded for the best master's dissertation on a topic within fields of marine heritage, archaeology, and anthropology. It is presented by Captain Michael Fulford Dobson, the president of the Poole Maritime Trust, and it goes to Catherine Williams. The British Psychological Society Prize, awarded to the best final year undergraduate student on the BSc Honours Psychology course. The prize is presented by Professor Remco Polman and is awarded to Gemma Pomfrey. The British Psychological Society Wessex Branch Prize, awarded for the best undergraduate final year project in psychology, is also presented by Professor Remco Polman and is awarded to Daisy Rowe. The SOLAB Group Limited Prize, awarded for the best master's forensic dissertation likely to further research, presented by Professor David Osselton, Head of Department, is awarded to Hassan Kurumbokus. Pro-Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of prizes for this Faculty of Science and Technology ceremony.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please join us in giving all recipients of awards and prizes a final round of applause. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor John Vinney.
Graduation is my absolutely favourite time of year. And it's not just the fine robes that I get to wear, it's because at graduation I get the chance to meet all of you, our graduating students, and have the very great honour of being the first person to congratulate you as you cross the stage. Now graduates, you are now all BU alumni, and I know how great that is because I am one too. So I once crossed this very same stage and sat where you are today, so I know what a fantastic university this is. Now, the motto of this university, which is on the crest on the front of this lectern, is Discere mutare est, which means to learn is to be changed. And education is about changing lives, our own lives and the lives of those around us. So it really does help us to leave the world a better place. And you are all now BU Global Ambassadors and the next generation of BU Global Talent. Your achievements, recognised today, are the launchpad for an amazing journey that absolutely has no limits. A journey full of opportunities and challenges, a journey that will require you to continually learn, change and adapt in order to succeed in this increasingly competitive, globally connected and fast-paced world. Now, since I was here as a student, BU has been on an amazing journey too, and has changed beyond all recognition. Our vision, as the Pro-Chancellor said earlier, is based on this fusion, this integration of education, research and professional practice, which we then blend through into our courses. And this year we did actually name a building after that concept as well, the Fusion Building at the Talbot campus, a world-class space for a world-class global talent and a world-class learning community. As highlighted in our most recent government-led research assessment, 96% of BU's research is now rated internationally, and 18% of that is ranked as world leading, the highest possible category. And within 6 months after graduating from BU, 94% of our graduates are in work or further study. Now, our stated overall aim is to consistently be listed in the top 50 of UK universities, and while we're well on the way to achieving that, we've also been now listed in the top 200 most international universities according to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. And even more recently, we've been listed in the top 150 universities that are under 50 years old. Now, sadly, I am no longer under 50 years old, which is shocking, I know. But my decision to study at this university when I was just 18 years old did change my life forever, and my journey has led me to be on this stage today. So who knows where your amazing journeys will take you. Now, another reason I love graduation is because I get to have a chance to meet all of your family and friends, and of addressing those who are watching us live from around the world but can't be with us. So hello to you. Now, we all know that succeeding at university requires a huge amount of hard work, tenacity, and determination. You should all be extremely proud of what you've achieved. But none of you did this alone. So sitting behind you are the people who helped you keep your feet on the ground while you were reaching for the stars, your parents, your partners, your friends, and your families. Without their supporting understanding, none of this would have been possible. People who supported you when you first decided to go to university. People who manned the 24/7 helpline back home. People who were there for you when the pressure started to build, the deadlines were getting closer, and those final assessments were looming. So I'm delighted to see so many of your supporters to share this moment with you. And graduates, I now invite you to stand up, turn around, and show your thanks with a huge round of applause. Apologies, that doesn't work so well if you're sat in the front row. Thank you. Now, you may have noticed some other familiar faces on the stage or in the crowd today, your lecturers, tutors, and support staff. And like me, they were extremely proud to see you cross the stage and collect your degrees. I'd like to take this opportunity to personally thank each and every one of them for their fantastic contribution and for making BU such a great place. Please do give them a wave if you can catch their eye, and join me in thanking them with another huge round of applause. Now, you can all be proud of what you've achieved as individuals, but I want to reflect very briefly on what you've achieved together. Now, many of you graduating today have contributed enormously to BU and to the wider community, either working with our fantastic Students' Union, SUBU, volunteering, fundraising, or doing charity work, or representing BU in our sports teams, or through the clubs, societies, and community groups you've all been part of. So on behalf of all those people in our local community and further afield that you've helped and supported, I would like to say another big thank you. Now, the Faculty of Science and Technology has also had a brilliant year, and I was delighted to visit the Big Dig site this summer and see the Iron Age remains for myself and see the fantastic work that's been done by our students. Our research is also going from strength to strength. Researchers are using new technology to explore fascinating new sites in Spain and elsewhere, and even under the sea, looking at ancient shipwrecks, including HMS Invincible, which sank in the Solent in the 18th century. As the Pro-Chancellor mentioned earlier, we're also doing great work with the Dorset Local Enterprise Partnership and other partners. BU has been awarded funding from the Natural Environment Research Council to look at the impact of environmental change on agricultural landscapes. Now, I know that my colleagues in the faculty have really enjoyed working with you all, and they have asked me to pass on a few messages. I hope that you've enjoyed this seminar. I'd like to thank all those who have been involved in making it such a success, particularly our Pro-Chancellor, Giles Sturdy, for presiding this afternoon. Thank you. Our local dignitaries and other distinguished guests, and members of the University Board for their continued support and commitment. Graduates, you are now all automatically members of the BU Alumni Association, so please do keep in touch and make the most of their ongoing services. We want to hear about your amazing journeys. I personally wish you the very best for the future, and invite you now to join me and my colleagues in the Purbeck Hall to continue the celebrations. Thank you.
Congregation, please stand for the national anthem and the retiring processions.